Hey everyone, it's Dizzy Taro, and I finally managed to beat Weapon Trial 2 Stage 10. So yeah, let's get started. So this boss, in my opinion, is relatively easy compared to Weapon Trial 1 and 3. And I think the difficult part is mostly around finding ways to squeeze in more DPS, just because at stage 10, we're not tanky enough to take the AoE hit that also knocks you back. Most of your units will die from that. So finding ways to either have a unit survive that hit and do extra damage, or be able to do damage and then run away, is really key to being able to beat this stage. So one bonus extra little tip, and I should have put this out sooner: if you're still missing DPS and you've yet to beat the Fool's Journey Chapter 7 and 8 because of how tedious it is, do consider bringing in this tactical skill from the Seeker's Path, which is the Divine Archer. When pairing this up with the Regroup's tactical skill that you get for Chapter 7, it allows you to position yourself in an even better spot, even letting you do things like making the enemy have to go through their own traps. So quick little small tip, make sure you do that. Okay, so back to the video. Angel is awesome free-to-play healer. Running her with Flagellant, Light of Healing, and Regenerate for the extra heals. Got this Reorganized Cube for extra healing, and the Mercy of the High Priestess for extra healing again. And Disaster Bottle, really good to bring in to allow your DPSs to do a little bit of extra damage, as you'll see later on. Now we'll quickly go over Papal Guard. There's not much to say. He's the absolute best tank for Weapon Trial 2. No other tank comes close to what he can do. So just pick him up, make sure you use him. Now, real quick, I do want to go over his rank 7 skills. Now, there are a lot of guides out there that are showing that Invulnerable is a really good choice to pick up, and I think I would agree. I only did not pick it up myself because I saw it was on a 5-turn cooldown. I wasn't sure I would be able to use this skill in time, but seeing how it lasts for 3 turns and you really don't get attacked by the boss every single turn, I think it is a really good skill to pick it up. So if you haven't yet picked up one of these two, I do recommend picking up Invulnerable. It will make your run a little bit easier. However, if you've already picked Flagellant, do not waste a Castalia, because I'll show you how you can make it work with Flagellant. So if you've already tried with Flagellant and you're failing, it's most likely because you're not using the unique coat. I was previously running him with a Mystery Guardian, which sounds pretty great, gaining extra 5% physical defense if you're attacked from the front, but it wasn't enough, and I still died. The unique coat is extremely good at reducing the physical damage by 30%, so it's a huge extra bonus, and with the gear engravings to further reduce it by 15, you'll be set. And also take Silence of the Hermit, makes it even stronger for you to tank the hits. And that's pretty much it. Everything else is pretty much the same thing. Defense against range attack, which is really good for this stage. If you want to use him for other content, maybe pick up the other reaction. Then we've got defense stance and heavy armor. So the third unit you want to make sure you bring is the Outlaw Guard, and he's very straightforward. If you have a better unit to bring that can do what he's bringing to the table, bring that unit. But otherwise, he's here to reduce the attack on the boss every single turn, and have a chance to reduce the physical defense, which is really awesome. He can do massive amounts of damage. I think he's like the second highest DPS in my team, and he's got this rage as well that will give him a damage bonus when he's hit. You want to make sure you do bring in the Rays of the Sun for your DPSs, and that's pretty much it. So for the rest of your DPSs, this would really depend on what units you've got built up, and I will give you my suggestion. But before we get into it, the reason why it's a little bit tricky is because I think our accounts, my account, I think it's a little bit underleveled. When I fought the boss, it came up as Invincible, and if I really analyzed the fight, they're about like 1/3 of the entire fight and the entire rounds where you're really not spending any moves to hit the boss, you're just running away. Just because he does do a lot of damage and you don't have enough healing to sustain that. So once we get higher level and we're able to tank the boss's AoE without being chunked down too much, you'll have an easier time. So there are several ways you can go about making sure you squeeze in that DPS a little bit more, but I think the easiest way is going through the vulnerable stacking route, and for that you'll want to use someone like the Outlaw Guard. And I've made the dumb mistake of picking up his skills way too early using this stunt, which is completely useless against the boss. Instead, he has this crushing bash, which is an amazing skill, applying vulnerable, which increases damage taken by 20% for 3 turns. So really great skill. There's not even a chance of him applying this debuff. It's 100%. So really great skill to pick up for bosses. And yeah, Outlaw Guard is a really good unit, and you'll see I managed to use him as well to tank the boss's single target hit as well from the beginning. So he's a really nice strong unit. Lastly, we have Rawiyah. Now I honestly think Rawiyah is probably the best DPS to bring into this fight. She has like almost everything about her kit is really strong against the boss. So let's go through those one by one. Starting with her trait, straight up increased damage, and this goes up the higher amount of stars you got for her, including the chance to recover 40% of her HP, and getting her tipsy buff, which is a really strong buff, giving her an increase of crit and decreasing damage taken, and it also can be stacked. So it's really easy to land those crit hits with Rawiyah, making it really reliable way to just chunk down the boss and getting as much damage done as possible. Now, just so you guys know, I don't have the most optimal build for her. There are a couple skills that I should have picked instead, but I still managed to make it work. Now, first of all, for her basic attacks, you want to make sure you're bringing Fatal Attack instead of Dispelling Strike. This is really strong, increases her crit damage by 15, and she's got a lot of ways of increasing her crit rate. Second of all, Guardian's Heart, I don't think the reactions matter too much. I'm not 100% sure if she's able to do strike backs. Then Gale Breach is her main way of dealing damage. Once this turns into the Tropical Cyclone, it will do even more damage based off the amounts of debuffs you have on the boss. So with the vulnerable stacking, honestly, the DPS just skyrockets. And we've got the Sword of Convallaria here and her Another Pint. So you could change this up. Instead of bringing the Another Pint, you could consider bringing this Co-Attack, which I did not pick up, but it really is quite strong. It further increases her attack up to 15%. So do consider that if you're lacking the DPS. And you want to make sure you bring again the Rays of the Sun to increase her damage by ignoring the defense. So here's a fight, and again, it's really important that you're positioning yourself in the right way to make sure you're squeezing in as much damage as possible. And you'll see I'll start to move the Papal Guard a little bit closer as well, instead of just leaving him in this spot, to allow him to prevent my DPS from getting further knocked back, so that my DPS can do extra damage. Alright, so let's get started. Here I'll start off by using the defense stance, and my Knight's Guard is using the Knight's Glory, because both of them will tank the boss's initial range damage. Then I go and move my Outlaw Guard. Rawiyah is going to go forward, and I believe she's going to attack the boss as well. And just using her basic attack right now, saving her energy for when the boss does have debuffs. There we go. Outlaw Guard, honestly very strong without having any I guess like defensive build. He is tanky enough with his initial shield plus the other extra shield he gets from the skill to survive that. And then here comes Angel to just cleanse that. Defense stance again. Moving forward and starting to break some of these rocks and doing some damage to the boss. Yeah, so here you go. You'll see my Papal Guard is honestly really strong even without the invulnerable skill. With just Flagellant, he's able to survive those, and then I'm never gonna heal him again. Like, actually, I don't think I've healed him once. So here, I don't want to use my heal immediately. I want to make sure I have enough energy to heal them all the time, and I place her here because I want her to take damage and have that Flagellant buff stack. Here we go, just keep attacking everyone. My Knighted Guard's got that tarot with the Wheel of Fortune, giving him sometimes a way to heal the team. And then now we do a heal. So she'll be under a little bit. She'll get enough energy to heal next time, but from now on she's gonna get hit and have the penance stack, allowing her to heal more reliably. Defense stance again. So now I'm moving out of the way because the boss will do that massive AoE, and yeah. So here I could technically move her, I think, in front of the boss and just do extra damage, but I think she might take a little bit too much damage from getting hit by this rock. So I'll do it now. So I think she's gonna survive. This is why Rawiyah is really strong. She's got a lot of self-sustain, allowing her to do more damage on the boss in those turns where everyone needs to run away, and she can survive quite well. There we go. Just squeezing in as much DPS as you can every single turn. Doing a nice heal. So I've got my Papal Guard move forward. Now, as you guys can see, the boss will do extra damage as your Papal Guard gets closer, but my Papal Guard is so tanky, it really does not matter at all. So I'm moving him closer to prepare him, I believe, to prevent my DPS from being knocked back. There we go. I don't know if you guys missed it, but I stacked vulnerable from my Knighted Guard, and then I've also put Warhorn, and that's how my Rawiyah was able to do 12k. Here, taking 0 damage again. Papal Guard's too strong. And then he's coming closer again instead of sticking in this spot, because I do want him to eventually block my Rawiyah from taking too much knockback. And another thing you want to make sure to do, Outlaw Guard does a lot more damage than your Knighted Guard. So depending on where these rocks are placed, you want to make sure that the Outlaw Guard is the one who can hit the boss and does not have to move back. So you'll see, because this rock, when it explodes, it'll hit one tile around itself. So my Knighted Guard here is in the safe spot, but if I were to move my Outlaw Guard one spot back, he would pretty much die. So here we go, Papal Guard sticking in this spot to prevent Rawiyah from being knocked back. Rawiyah doing some extra healing, and then hitting the boss and not being afraid of dying. There we go. Quite healthy still. My Papal Guard has yet to take an extra damage from the boss since the start of the fight. And I think he's healing there because I am running him with the one that recovers HP. Again, Warhorn here, and then my Rawiyah is getting ready to do massive amounts of damage. So I'm not sure why it wasn't as hard. I think it's because I haven't applied enough debuffs. And so having your angel or one of your supports have the the bottle that puts extra debuffs on the boss, it's a great time to use that along with the war horn. So here I probably should have done that differently. No, actually that's fine. But yeah, I had to break this boss. I didn't have the chance to hit the boss here because the rock spawned a little bit too close to me. And luckily I had the piercing gauntlet, I think it's called, allowing my angel to make sure she breaks that at the very last minute. So I think my Rawiyah might be a little bit too weak at this point, or I was a little bit too afraid to lose her, so and my Night Guard was very healthy, so I used my Night Guard to do DPS. But I think my Rawiyah would have been fine. Maybe. Doing extra healing. Again, no need to worry about the Papal Guard, seriously. You can see he's still got his shield there. It's not taking any damage. Warhorn, I think he's already got the damage vulnerability debuff, and I've previously applied the extra debuffs, so now 15k. Rawiyah honestly really strong, and she's not even optimally built as well, so really great unit to bring in here. And the rest of the fight is pretty much the same. You just want to make sure that you're positioning your units, your DPSs correctly, so the ones who do the most damage are able to do an extra hit and not have to back off. So here I think I didn't manage to get my Papal Guard to move into this spot on time, so I didn't want to I didn't use my Rawiyah to do extra damage, otherwise she would have been too far away to get back into the boss range. But as you guys will see, more than enough damage. Use Warhorn again. 5k on the Outlaw Guard, which is honestly really good. And my Rawiyah should be able to finish him off in this turn, I believe. Okay, there we go. So that's it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed it, please leave a like. Again, sorry it took me so long to get this video out, but it was a struggle to find the right DPSs to bring in to meet that DPS check. But as you guys can see, Rawiyah top tier for this fight. Really good at making sure we use every single part of her kit, so she's able to squeeze in as much damage as she can against the boss. So that's it from me. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.